Hi everyone, it's Kristie here from Sweet Girl Designs, and today I am sharing with you my album cover for my upcoming October daily. So I'm using the Snap album by Simple Stories in black, along with the Hey Pumpkin collection by Crate Paper. I have a haul video on this collection if you want to see it in a bit more detail, but for now I'm just kind of showing you what I have, and I'm going to flip through the 12 by 12 papers because these are the papers that I'm going to use to make my album cover. I had initially flipped through the 6 by 8 pad as well, just to see if any of those papers would work, but a lot of them are in portrait style, and so it wouldn't be wide enough to fit the album. So I used the 12 by 12 paper. I really wanted to use that ghost one, but it just wasn't going to work out. So I'm going to use this 12 by 12 paper. I really love the little witch and the Frankenstein and the ghosts and the pumpkins and the bats. I love everything about it, and I especially like the color of the paper as well. So I'm just, technically measuring using my thumbnail to make an indent in the paper. So I'm just trimming it down, and I really do like decorating the cover of these craft albums. I think it just adds a lot to the album and makes it a little bit more interesting. I know there are people who would just leave it as is, and that's totally fine. But for me, a lot of the fun in doing these albums comes from creating the cover, and I just feel like it sets the tone for the whole project. So I use my Fiskars trimmer to trim down the 12 by 12. I really do need to replace the blade because it really isn't very good anymore. So that's why I pulled out my Tim Holtz guillotine trimmer just to trim off the little fuzzy bits. And I'm just making sure that everything's lined up and fits. I'm just going to decide on which paper I want for the front. I'm going to decorate both the front and the back cover today. It would be fine just to decorate the front, but I like to use the same paper on the back as well. I'm using my StazOn ink just to kind of distress the edges of the album. I know there are distress products out there and inkers and all that kind of stuff. I don't have any of those things, so I just use my StazOn, and I do that just to add a little bit extra interest to the album, and it kind of finishes it off for me to have that black continue around all the edges. So I decided to use this paper for the front. It has more witches and more Frankensteins than the other paper, which I put on the back, and the witches and the Frankensteins on this paper are situated at the top and the bottom, so I knew that I wasn't going to cover them up when I added my embellishments. I have this twine that I've had in my stash, my Halloween stash for a while, and it's just orange and white baker's twine. It is on the thicker side, so I really liked that. Sometimes I use ribbon, sometimes I use baker's twine. I've used other wired ribbon before, and I like covering the seam from the fabric of the album to the paper. So that's why I'm using the twine. So I just wrap it around 3 times and tie a bow, and I'm just going to fix it and trim it off a little bit. Once I have the bow completed, I'm going to go through the embellishments and decide what to add. I'm just kind of refamiliarizing myself with the embellishments. I know that I want to use some chipboard because this is only a 4x6 album and the spine is only 1 inch, I believe. I know that I won't have a ton of opportunity to use the chipboard within the album, so I know I want to use at least one piece on the outside. So I decided to go with this house, and I really like the orange, how it picks up the orange, and I just like the scale. Also, because this is a 4x6 album, some of these bigger embellishments and ephemera and those sorts of things won't necessarily fit in the smaller size pockets. So if I could use this house on the outside, that would be great. Now you'll see that I don't end up using this house, but like I mentioned, because this has the witches and the Frankensteins, which was one of the selling features for me for this whole collection, I don't want to cover them up. So as I'm starting to add my title using the word October from the 6x12 sticker sheet, I'm finding that I just don't have a good place to put the title when I have this super large house. So I'm going to remove the house, but before I do that, I'm going to layer in this it's almost like a vellum or a clear sticker from the sticker book. I'm going to layer that in behind the word October, and then I'm going to use the black thickers with the holographic line inside to write the year 2019. So I've decided to go without the house, but like I said, I know I want to use some chipboard. So I decided to go with this witch's hat. I just like that it brings in some more black. It balances out the black of the thickers, and it goes with the witches that are on the pattern paper as well. As mentioned, I added the spider web in behind the word October. I'm not usually a fan of the clear stickers, but in this case it works really, really well because it just kind of adds to the pattern paper and adds a little bit more interest and without taking away from the pattern itself. So I center up the word October and then year 2019, add the chipboard, and now I know that I want to add something else underneath the year. So I'm going to go through the ephemera. I thought about using those sequins, but decide to save those maybe for like a shaker pocket. Once I get started with my album, maybe I'll do a shaker pocket. This ephemera piece that says Eek really stood out to me, mostly because of the size, but mostly also because of the color. The pattern paper has a little bit of yellow on it, and I thought that it would be really good to include some more yellow on the front cover just to kind of to foreshadow or kind of tell what colors will also be included inside the album. There will be lots of yellow as well. So I add that word just kind of underneath the year, and then I'm going to add some chipboard stars also in yellow to kind of again balance that out. Now, I know the rule is to include these things in threes, so ideally I would have like another yellow embellishment, but I feel like the yellow on the pattern paper itself is one of the yellow items. The Eek ephemera is the second, and then the yellow stars is the third. So that kind of creates the triangle. I'm going to use some more of the clear stickers. I added a few more of the spider webs, and I also really liked this word phrase sticker that says a wicked good time, kind of again telling about the album and that the month of October is full of goodness and all kinds of events. My birthday is in October. Canadian Thanksgiving's in October. My nephew's birthday's in October. I have a couple of 5K runs in October as well. So there's going to, and of course, Halloween and all those fun things as well. So the month is going to be chocked full of good things. Adding some more spider webs up in the corner. I'm going to play around with another word sticker here. I thought having it in a corner is where I wanted it, but it was covering up that little witchy. So I thought maybe putting it underneath the Frankenstein, but I just felt like that was, I don't know, kind of awkward. So I'm going to play around with it quite a bit here, but eventually I'm going to move it just underneath the bottom into the bottom corner under that other phrase sticker. It's really awesome that these stickers peel off so easily because I was really worried that I wasn't going to be able to peel it off. So now I know that my front is complete, but when I look at the back, it just looks a little bit unfinished with the paper and the fabric seam. So I'm deciding to repeat this element of the twine on the back. And I'm not going to have the bow, so I'm going to just adhere the twine using this Tombow liquid glue adhesive, and I'm just going to do that now, I'm not going to glue all the twine, but just the edges. And when I do that, it's a little it still looks a little bit unfinished. So I have this idea to use an ephemera piece to kind of decorate the inside back cover. And because I will be documenting 31 days, and of course the last day of October being Halloween, I decided to go with this very large ephemera piece that says Happy Halloween. So I'm gonna just add some foam dots on the back of this ephemera piece because it is gonna sit up on the twine a little bit. I just add some foam, and hopefully that doesn't add too much bulk to my album once I start adding the page protectors. The snap albums always come with page protectors. I'm not sure if you saw that at the beginning of the video, but it comes with a really good assortment of page protectors. Some 3x4s, some 4x4s, and then a variety of different 4x6 ones. Just gonna finish off the spiderweb clear stickers. Just, use them all up because there's no point in saving them. And I add those, and I also add a little jack-o'-lantern sticker and call it good. I want to thank you so much for watching. All products are linked in the description box below.